Talk a little bit about this whirlwind. I saw an education at Sundance, and I was among many who discovered you and enjoyed the film incredibly much. It's just uh, I can't wait to see it again. I'm going to go see it, again, and that's so rare, really. Can you explain what the magic alchemy is? What works so well? Why the movie has this magic quality?
Um, I think I'm hoping that it is a very together package, that everything feels that it belongs in that film. It's a very contained little story, and that Jenny herself is so much like the London she is walking around in, and that every line and every joke and every moment in the film tells exactly that quite small story in a way, so it gets layered enough to be the whole that, or the unity that it was intended to be. But I also think that some of the actors working together and meeting and clicking, and you can feel that the joy of working, and my pleasure with working on this film, that it is on screen, that it's not over rehearsed and it's not overshot, and I never wanted it to be trying too hard. It had to be light, and I think we did achieve some of the lightness I had hoped, and I thought would suit the film.
But Carrie, it's hard to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, no, well, no. I mean, the thing is, I would say that, it was an amazing bunch of actors, and it was people who clicked and people who worked together really well. And I felt definitely that I felt working with Peter really, I mean, all of them, because they were so high in their standards, brought me up with them, I think. But I think above all that was the fact that Loan made the whole process so joyful. It wasn't a stressful film, and it wasn't about schedule, not getting days. Every day was a positive attitude around set, and it felt like uh, it never became like arduous, and it didn't feel like work. It felt, and I think that comes into the film. I think people are really enjoying themselves and having a good time. I think I had one day where I got, I think I was really tired, and I started crying on the stairs. Do you remember? I had like a panic attack or something. That day when we shot the scene where I come home and
Mm,
Alfred and Cara are there,
mm.
and I just went. That was one day, and that's
But
the
that is the
only
emotional
negative.
peak of the film, so it makes
Yeah,
sense.
but it was
It's
the only negative half hour of the entire shoot. The rest of it was literally the most fun I've ever had doing anything, and I think that's because Lone brought that onto set, and everybody then followed suit, and it just felt like fun. I mean, I loved it, so I think that's in there, and I think the actors. There's not a single person who isn't perfect in what they do in it, and no one's even the people who come in and do one scene like Sally come in and make an enormous impact on the film, and yeah, make you raise your game, I think.
How did you create the period so effectively, and how was it for you to fall back into that period which you couldn't possibly have experienced?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's Andrew and you working together, wasn't it?
yeah, very collaborative thing. I'm not English, and I needed to lean on to the people around me. The important thing for me was to make sure that everyone was making the same film, and that everything was there for a reason, and that we never wanted to rest the camera on a prop or on a detail if it wasn't appropriate to the story. But my main concern was to break that barrier, the audience and period films, that sometimes between those, because I think it's very hard to make period emotional. You just watch the costumes and the props and the
The cool cars.
exactly. We do have pretty cool
You
cars,
do. I want one.
especially one. But I didn't want you to notice, and I wanted you to effortlessly move back into time and just feel for the characters and for the story, and forget that you were being seduced primarily by Peter Sarsgaard's character.
Now, it was a bit of a leap to say to everyone around the world, this is a British actor. I mean, an American actor with a convincing British
Hmm.
accent. How did you know? that he was going to pull that off.
I didn't. You never. You. I mean, every time you cast someone, you run some sort of risk, and it's certainly very difficult for me not being English, so I couldn't be the judge of his work. But what I can see is if things are don't, or and here is if they don't ring true, and part of the putting on an accent is right for the character because David has a big secret in the story.
Mhm.
But people around me, and I've asked everyone around me to please tell me if his accent wasn't convincing, and Peter worked really hard on it, and people say he lands on both legs and more.